Kevin Barnes with BB&R Design Build here with Jane Barnes, our interior designer, and Jane Barnes Interiors, and just here to talk about this project in Sudbury. This client came to us as a referral and had some, frustrated by their outdated kitchen and some of the layout features and trying to establish some better use of the space. And it had some interesting transition into a mudroom, laundry room in the back we'll talk about as we walk through the space a little bit. And we had some creative solutions to how that worked out and made, an overall footprint that we didn't change much, but we were able to make a lot of improvements to the overall flow and layout just through some smart design planning and your amazing touch with all the design features and aesthetics of it.
Well, this is, for starters, these clients are so awesome. They have been a joy to work with. And this property that they're at is just a very cool architectural style. And so the space already had really cool bones. But one of the aspects that was dominant and dominantly disturbing our clients just was really not what they wanted, is this fantastic fireplace behind us. So it's big, it's original, it has tons of texture, but very, very rustic, and was really dominating the space in terms of the aesthetics. It's obviously an architectural focal point, but she really wanted to detract from that. And we even talked about removing it. And so that was part of our design process to figure out, does that make sense? And talk about a different floor plan. Initially, this space had really heavy beams in the ceiling. So very cool look, old texture, but it just made the somewhat low ceilings feel even lower. In addition to which the flow, the pattern, the traffic of the kitchen really wasn't efficient, and it didn't help with the flow of this space because they've got this very cool kitchen and what I call a keeping room connective area, which is terrific for a family or for friends so that you can be comfortable and casual and still, enjoy, eating and drinking and kind of noshing here and there while still being comfortable and with this beautiful fireplace. So it was a really fun process to go through them with the design aspects and different floor plans that we reviewed with them. And, she particularly happens to have fantastic aesthetics. So it was really fun to work with her because she loved everything that I presented. So it was a lot of fun. But do you want to talk a little bit more about the challenges of, maybe getting rid of this fireplace, which was something
the fireplace obviously would have been a lot more work, as this is not just knocking down a few stones, it's a whole chimney. So we really worked hard. Jane had a great idea in making use of the space, which took some convincing on her part because she felt like there was really nothing that could be done to make it look better. But, a little paint, the floating shelf, and, working it in with the rest of the features on either side of it, the other floating shelves, and tying it in with the island were all great ideas on Jane's part, and really, helped to accomplish that in a very cost-effective, reasonable way.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, we meet with clients. They tell us what is it about the space that's not working for you? What don't you like? Listen to our clients and understand what their pain is about the space and try to figure out the best solution and what's most cost-effective. And so with this fireplace, for example, she really wanted to take it out, and we could certainly do that. But if there's a price tag attached to it. And so my suggestion was, hey, listen, let's just put a coat of paint on it. I think it's really going to change the overall feel of it. We'll still get the texture, but the color won't be so dominant, and it'll really flow into the rest of the finishes and the colors that I'm presenting. So let's try that. It's a relatively inexpensive option. Let's give that a try. If you don't love it, then we'll talk about plan B. And luckily she did love it and
plan B worked.
Yeah, it worked. And then we added this beautiful mantle onto it, which coordinates with the island and just adds a little bit of, a little bit of texture, but more of a refined, sophisticated texture to this very rustic fireplace. So I love the way it turned out. And then balancing it with the cabinetry and the floating shelves, and in that same wood grain pattern, the cashew stain on the maple species wood is just so perfect. And I love the maple because it gives you this beautiful, grain pattern without a lot of knots. It's very consistent and very refined looking. So I love the overall effect of that wood in the space to, complement all of the other textures and colors in the space. So one of the other very cool attributes about this space is they have these existing pine wood floors, like 12-inch, 16-inch wide plank pine floors, which are beautiful, and the clients love them and obviously wanted to keep them. But in this process, we had to remove some of the flooring because we changed the footprint of it a bit, but we worked with a fantastic subcontractor who specializes in wood floors, and worked very closely with him to make sure that we got the right finish, the right color, to coordinate with the surrounding spaces and just keep with the overall updated look of this newly renovated space.
You're able to maintain that old feel that comes with the wide pine floors with the hand banged cut nails, or pilgrim nails as one of our guys called it.
Yeah.
And we ended up carrying the same finish through the rest of the first floor just to have that cohesiveness and give it that updated yet still have a little bit of that rustic look with it, which really came out fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. It's a beautiful monochromatic look with this complex layering of textures. That's one of my favorite designs and color stories to work with.
I think one of the challenges we were trying to solve was, the area behind us in the kitchen is a very square rectangular space, but beyond there is the mudroom and laundry room. So we explored some different options. They had some dead space in the garage. We explored expanding it, but that was really driving the budget up. So we ended up changing a pantry closet that extended into the mudroom and ripping that out, and then creating kind of a separation to the laundry room by using the tall cabinets with the pass-through cabinet. A very cool feature, which we'll show you, because then it kind of hides that laundry room that nobody's really excited about showing off. So you're able to just kind of hide that, creates a cool feature, and it also opened up that mudroom area too. So it's like a small amount of square footage in the overall space that we renovated, but it was very impactful the way that whole space was, laid out. And I think the solution we came up with together really worked out well to get them, a nice functional space without having them go the extra mile and spend the extra money by stealing more space that ultimately ended up not really needing to be done with the layout we came up with.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with the overall, functionality of all of the cabinetry, getting a little mudroom area, a place to put your coats, to keep the dog leashes, to put your boots, and then also some fantastic cabinetry for, pantry storage, for all the dry goods and things like that. And then having those double doors that hide the laundry room is just very, very cool. And of course, it's all like a continuation of the design and the color story that happens in here, but a little bit different and a little bit more, in tune with like the function of that space, that it's, it's an entry point, that's where the dogs are. And, it can be, kind of a high traffic area over there, but I love the way it turned out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think the other thing, the kitchen, again, the same amount of footprint back there, but there was a peninsula versus an island. So we were able to put the island in there, and then also making better use of the wall space and moving their main sink in front of this large bank of windows. And we maintained where their old sink was as a secondary sink since it's kind of tucked in a corner, not really a great location for a primary sink. So those minor changes made a huge impact with the overall functionality of the kitchen.
Yeah, I completely agree. And one of the things that made these clients just such a dream to work with is they just implicitly trusted us. They did their research, they knew the caliber of, design build firm that we are, and knew our work, and just really just trusted us. So, when we made a recommendation, they agreed to it. As a designer, it was fantastic because she loved everything that I presented, because I really, as with all of my clients, dig in and hear, what do they want? What do they like? What are the existing spaces, the adjoining spaces like? And so I came up with, a fantastic design that's really cohesive with the surrounding spaces, but also the architecture of the house, which is, an imperative part of a really good design. So they just have been so much fun to work with. It's just been
clients.
Really easy. So if you like what you see here, if you like the work that we've done, check us out, our website, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
House.
House. Give us a call and let's see if we're a good fit for your next renovation. you.